Okay, everyone, we're going to get started. Good afternoon, New Jersey STIC members and friends, and thank you for joining us for our third quarterly meeting of 2023. We have a lot of exciting things on today's agenda, so I'm going to turn it right over to our Assistant Commissioner, Mike Russo, to kick things off.
All right, thank you. It's our third quarterly meeting, right? But this is our first in-person event since the COVID pandemic, right? So it's great to be doing this in person again. It's even greater to be doing it here at our brand new Bordentown Training Facility. This is a beautiful facility. We'll be doing a tour a little bit later, but thank you all for being here. Seeing you all in person is fantastic. The more we can do at ease, the better, right? So I think I want to go through like just a little bit of a run a show, what you can expect here today. We're going to have the tour, right? But we're also going to hear from each of our CIA teams and get updates from the CIA teams. They're here today. In addition, we have a presentation from SJTPO, and it's going to be about some of the innovative programs they have to teach the public and students and folks about traffic safety. Their programs are designed to bring awareness to the many risks presented to drivers, presented to passengers, to bicyclists, and teach simple ways to improve safety. So these programs that they do are targeted to specific age groups, right? But they're also targeted towards adults, vulnerable users, etc. So we're going to have our guest speaker today will be Bob Clark from SJTPO, who is one of the SJTPO's traffic safety specialists. And Bob provides these trainings to schools and to public agencies throughout. So let's welcome Bob. He'll be up here a little bit later. Next, what I would like to do is, what would I like to do, Brandy? There you go. Okay, next I'd like to welcome Sudhir Joshi. He's our newest member, right? He's going to be taking over the CIA team for planning and the environment. Sudhir has 26 years with the department. He's currently our manager of statewide strategies, which is within Andy Swords' group of statewide planning. So he will be taking over that role with our partner from Federal Highway, Sutapa, right, who has been in that role, I believe, previously. But Sudhir is now taking over that role to be a CIA team leader. So welcome aboard. It's great to have you here. And with that, I believe what I'll do is turn it over to Brandy, and Brandy will kind of guide you through what we're going to be doing next here.
Okay. All right. Well, get ready to get out of your seats in just a minute because we're going to get walking. But first, we have Melissa Boyer here from the Bordentown Training Center for Excellence. Tell us a little bit about it. And then we're going to break up into two tour groups. So rows 1, 2, 3 will follow Melissa. Everyone else will follow Eric here. Okay, so Melissa.
Hi. Well, welcome. Thank you all for joining us out here. I'm happy to have you. We're glad to be up and running. It's been a long process for us. This was part of the Department of Military Affairs. It was an armory. What did they call it? Sorry, I have my notes. The Bordentown Combined Support Maintenance Shop. So, we acquired the facility in 2016. We kept the original footprint of the 3 buildings, gutted them, rehabbed them, made them ideal for doing training for transportation professionals. So that's why we're here. I'm going to keep this part short. We'll take you to a couple different rooms in each of the 2 training buildings. The 3rd building is actually our equipment receiving shop. So that's a functioning shop, so we're not going to go out there. And then we'll end our tour in our trailer, which is where we used to do all of our training before the buildings were ready. And you'll get to take a look at our truck driving simulators. And anybody that's interested can give it a whirl. So if that sounds good, we'll get going.
Okay, and after the tour, we're all going to meet in the front of the building to take a group photo. So get ready. And we'll see you then. Well, we're just gonna get right into it. That was fun, right? Sorry everyone didn't get to try the simulator, but you know, Kim was just rocking and rolling on there, right, Kim? So I'm gonna turn it right over to our innovation coordinator with Federal Highway and our community planner, and he's gonna give us some updates from Federal Highway.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Can everybody hear me in the back? Perfect. All right, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Chris Page. I'm one of the planners here in the division office for Federal Highway. Just want to share a few quick updates. First off, I want to congratulate you, Mike, and thank you, Brandy, for putting this together. This has been amazing so far. I'm sure I can speak for everyone and say we enjoyed the tour, so thank you. Just want to share a few highlights of some things that have happened since our last STIC meeting, and a couple of resources that I pulled together and I want to share with you all as well. So with that, all right, so a few highlights. There we go. All right, a few highlights. In July, very significant milestone happened. The EDC baseline report for the national EDC program was released. So that is available. I'm not sure if that's readily available on the NJDOT Tech Transfer website. However, we can get that link to you all. It shows all the innovations, all the states, and at which stage that they're in, and what stage they wish to accomplish by the end of this EDC round. Excuse me. FHWA is encouraging states and transportation stakeholders to adopt their EDC 7, and those maps and charts that are available in the report are a great resource to use, and they're honestly just very cool to see. So I encourage you all to check that out if you get a chance. One of the things that I do want to highlight is that one of the EDC 7 initiatives, the safety initiative and nighttime visibility, there was a safety briefing that was held on August 22nd and August 24th. I know a number of individuals were in attendance to that webinar, so thank you for attending that. I hope it was very informational. On September 7th, Strategic Workforce Development, EDC 7 Innovation, held their kickoff webinar. So a bunch of states from around the country were able to meet and meet the national EDC Strategic Workforce Development points of contacts. So thanks for those who attended that as well. I personally attended, and it's a very well put together webinar. One thing I wanted to highlight, and this is a unique aspect of the EDC 7 round, is the cycle period. There has been an adjustment with that. For the purposes of reporting, I will say that EDC 7 is still 2 years. However, it is from April 2023, when I'm sure you all remember when those baseline reports were initially submitted, all the way through May 2025. So I highlighted this in the second quarter STIC meeting, is that instead of having the first 6-month progress report happen in June, because April to June might not be that much activity to report on, the next round of the next progress reports will be due in April of 2024. So when that exact date comes out, we'll be sure to share that and ensure the CIA team leads have enough time to gather the information for their reports and submit those on time. The exact date is still unknown, but like I said, we'll make sure that we get that information out. So I wanted to do something different. I had reached out to Brandy a couple weeks ago, and I wanted to ask, what do you think our STIC stakeholders might want to know? What type of resources do you think might be useful and informative for them? So I just went together and just went down the rabbit hole of Federal Highway's innovation website, and I found out a lot is going down there. So I just wanted to share this with you all. It's fhwa.dot.gov/innovation. That's the Center for Innovation for our Federal Highway. Lots of good information on there. I mean, about EDC, past cycles, cycles 1 through 6. Shows all the reports from all the different states and all the different STIC networks. There's different funding opportunities that are available. I know Brandy sends out information all the time about STIC incentive funding, but we encourage everyone to apply. There's lots of funding available, lots of opportunities, and There's lots of state examples if you need examples, and peer exchanges, and lots of countless resources that are available if you need to reference those in preparation for any application that you might want to submit. There's national databases of innovative accomplishments across the country, best practices from around the country. There's also the regulations and requirements that if you do intend on submitting an application for any type of funding opportunity, the regulations and requirements are there as well for you to reference. There's multimedia, educational videos, photos, you name it. All those resources are readily available. So please, I encourage you all just to take take some time, just go through the innovation website and just make sure that you and aware and educated on what opportunities are available. And lastly, I just want to say that there are upcoming events readily available. There is a calendar on that website that shows different webinars. Some events are, I'm sure, starting to shift back to being in person, but there are a lot of webinars that are involving a lot of these EDC innovations that may be of interest to you as well. So I just wanted to share this as a resource, and please just, I'm sure that's linked to the NJDOT Tech Transfer and STIC website. I'm sure there's a link to that as well, but I shared the URL as well if you need it. So that was all I had. Thank you all. I didn't want to be too long-winded, so we can go ahead.
Thank you, Chris. And now we're going to get right into our core innovation area team updates. And we are going to kick it off with Dan.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dan Lasanti. I'm the manager of the Bureau of Safety Bicycle and Pedestrian Programs at NJDOT. I'm going to give a quick, Amy couldn't be able to join me today. She has a dentist appointment. Kind of stinks for her, right? But anyway, I'm going to give a brief update on our CIA team safety initiative. Okay, so we have two initiatives for nighttime visibility. The first one here, that's being done through NJDOT's Bike Ped Resource Center. It's one of their research task orders. Rowan University is helping them with this one. The primary goal here is that we're going to do a literature, try to find out the best practices between lighting and the safety of vulnerable road users. That's really what we're kind of focusing on. Yes, that it'll touch on highway lighting at our intersections, but the main thing here is pedestrian scale lighting. So that's the lighting you see, the low lighting, which, it's not forgotten about, but it provides people security. It provides a driver some additional time, reaction time to see people. It's the lower scale. It's not the big highway lighting. It's lower, so it gives the reaction time, increases stop and sight distance for vehicles also. So we think it's going to help us out going forward, just to give you that little bit extra time before they get into the crosswalk. So at nighttime, it's very difficult. Everybody's a pedestrian here. Everybody's a driver here, right? Except Andy, he doesn't own a car. He just miserably failed, the driving thing over there. He's driving to stay the hell away from him, right? But anyway, this will let you, if you're ever a pedestrian walking at night, you're often blinded by the vehicle. But if you're in the car, you really don't see that pedestrian either. You think you do, but you don't, right? This study is going to hopefully give us information on best practices and actually give some guidance how we could design going forward. So that's this initiative. We have one more initiative on nighttime visibility. So this initiative has been going on for some time now, but we're making progress. This is, we have an NJDOT task order, and it's basically, we're going to upgrade our traffic signal pole and mast arm details based on 2015 ASTO standards. So the department wants to be able to install backplates with retroreflectivity tape on traffic signal indications. Our goal is to install the backplates on all signal heads, on all steel mast arms, going forward on new construction. Right now, we do wherever possible on the steel mast arms, but we have made some progress. The first draft for the steel traffic signal poles with mast arms less than 25 feet has been reviewed and comments provided to the designer. So in the future, once the details are complete, NJDOT will require installations of backplates on all signal indications. So that's what I have on this. But does anybody have any questions about the two initiatives? Just
Go ahead. Most of us, we get constituent inquiries about things like this, so we're still in the study phase, so we haven't yet determined, do we know when we expect that to be wrapped up?
For activity 2, the steel mast arms no, that's been standards changed in 2015. As you're aware, New Jersey has a lot of aluminum mast arms, so right now we are not installing backplates on the aluminum mast arms.
Is
But-
it because they're too heavy?
The loading, it's not it's the wind loading. It's
Okay.
more than just the dead load
Right,
coming
because the
down.
wind can catch it and takes more.
Yeah, but it's per 2015 Astro standards. Jamie's group, traffic engineering, is working with our structures group.
So it'll go on new ones that go up, but we're not gonna go back to all the aluminum ones and,
Yeah, we're not, yeah. So
Understood.
on new signal construction, but we're not putting them on
we're not gonna.
aluminum
backdate.
right
Okay,
now.
Understood.
Yeah, so it's just, it doesn't meet the
Well,
2015
that's fine.
standards.
I wanna make sure I understand it so that I can communicate it. That's awesome.
I have to communicate it tomorrow in deposition,
Yeah.
but that's just besides.
Well,
Here we go.
So she asked much of what I was gonna ask, the clarification on the aluminum poles. So does that mean we are going to elect to have aluminum poles with signals that don't have black plates, or is that something we're also trying to solve?
So going forward, I don't know if the standards, the ASHTO standards, I'm not an expert in this, you know this, but I don't know if the standards let you install those aluminum mast arms. They might be substandard going forward.
The mast arms themselves will no longer.
Those, no, the signal configuration, including the signal pole and the mast arm and what we can install on it right now. So right now, it's a two-prong approach, right? So traffic engineering will lay out the configurations that they want, right, of the traffic signal. Say they'll put a steel mast arm and put 4 heads on it, with backplates. I don't know if it's doable, but they'll design it for that. And we'll get our standard details, right? But that will have to be approved. They work by our structures, who's looking at it also from a structural standpoint. So if traffic engineering wants this, structure will say, no, it's not, we can't design it. So, but that's where we are. But the intent, from what electrical is telling me, they want to put them on all new signal indications. But any other questions? Good. Chat.
How do these, any maintenance issues with these, how do they hold up?
What?
The back plates, the tape?
Any
All
maintenance
that good
issues?
stuff, yeah.
Huh?
I'm
I'm gonna ask you. How's it holding up on I haven't from where I stand, I don't know of any maintenance issues, but as far as putting the retroreflectivity tape, that's kind of like a must. That gives it, from my from my perspective in safety, right now, installing backplates with retroreflective borders has a 15% decrease in FNSI, fatalities and serious injury crashes. So think about it during the day. You have that dull contrast, right? So it lets you see the signal indication. But at night, you have the retroreflective border and lets you see it then. And also, like if you have power outages, when you have storms, it lets you see the traffic signal heads. So these are some of the advantages. California just put out a video about installed it like on numerous, I think in the thousands, the backplates with retroreflective borders. But on their video, they focus on when power's out. They have a lot of power outages due to the fires and due to other events. So that's what they focused on in their video, but it's good. It's one of the FHWA proven safety countermeasures. So we have 3 pilot projects going on right now in DPM to figure out how the department's what it takes to install back plates. Do we have to, revise the whole intersection to, how costly it is and where we're gonna go with that. So we have 3 pilot projects. We don't have a program yet, but we have 3 pilot projects and we're gonna see where it takes us. Yes, Andy?
I'm just curious, this is great for what DOT's doing. I'm just curious if this is being extended to the local systems through the grants and local aid and.
Back plates?
Yeah, backwards.
Yeah, we encourage back plates on all of our projects. When we get involved as an SMA, one of our comments is always, can we install back plates here? The locals, we promote it on our HSIP projects when we do application reviews, but yeah, we feel from a safety perspective, but we understand it's not as easy as people think. You can't just go out there and throw it. That's why, especially with the new ASHTO standards, it's definitely not as easy as people think. Or else the department would have done this 2016, 2017. It's difficult. So, because not dead load, you got wind load. And that's, I think, with the new standards, that's what I think comes into play. You see other states, some of their steel poles are very, very big. So you ever Google like Florida locations where they have back plates? The new ASHTO standards, requires, it seems, deeper foundations, larger diameter poles. And it is what it is. But we'll continue to do our best at DOT. Any other questions?
Okay, thank you, Dan.
All right.
And up next, obviously, we have infrastructure preservation, and we have Shivani Patel.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Shivani Patel, and I'll be providing the update on infrastructure preservation innovations. To start with EPIC, since June, there has been a lot of activity for this innovation. Special provisions to the NJDOT specifications were drafted for internal curing concrete. The team members are currently in the process of conducting a peer review of the draft provisions. A candidate list of bridges for internal curing in the bridge deck concrete were compiled. The team is currently working on finalizing the list of candidate bridges with the Division of Project Management. Team members Samar Rabi and Jess Mendenhall conducted a CPM coordination meeting, which included staff from project management, or the Program Management Office, Bridge Engineering and Infrastructure Management, Construction and Materials, Regional Construction and Materials Division of Project Management. This meeting introduced the concept of internal curing, addressed questions and concerns, discussed the implementation plan and next steps. Team members reached out and communicated with other state agencies for lessons learned and knowledge transfer. The team hopes to continue ongoing communication. In the next quarter, the team plans to contact and meet with concrete suppliers to gauge readiness for producing internally cured concrete and discuss potential implementation challenges. Team members also plan to begin communications with project designers for the selected projects. Okay, now moving on to EPDs. Since June, there has been solid advancement for this innovation despite the delayed start. An EPD's SME team has been established. The team includes representation from geotechnical, pavement and drainage management, and technology, construction, services and materials, and environmental resources. A kickoff meeting for the initiative was held in August to provide an overview, introduce the concept of EPDs, discuss innovative materials already being used by the department, address concerns, discuss training needs, and the overall implementation plan. During this meeting, a team leader was identified, and Nasrat Morshet will lead the team. Recently, team members participated in an FHWA EPD training session hosted by NJDOT. which provided a broad overview of EPDs and how to effectively use them to quantify our emissions and set realistic reduction targets. Staff also participated in the Buy Clean Policies and EPDs Community of Knowledge quarterly meeting, which focused on transportation agencies and how they can use industry-provided greenhouse gas emissions data to identify materials that meet specific global warming potential thresholds established by EPA's interim determination for low carbon materials and industry average. The team is currently working on drafting a work plan, which will include specific activities to help achieve the key milestones identified in the baseline report. Staff are also currently in the process of researching and learning more about the EPDs and the current best practices. In the next couple of months, the team hopes to finalize the work plan, reach out to state agencies for guidance and lessons learned, and begin to identify pilot projects. Okay, and we also have an announcement related to an EPD or EDC 6 innovation. The Bureau of Structural Engineering, New Technologies and Products Unit will be hosting HNTB for a 2-hour training on recent advancements for the use of UHPC and infrastructure applications on October 13th at the NJDOT headquarters and also via Microsoft Teams. Registration is required and in-person attendance will be limited, but any NJDOT staff member may attend via Teams. The training will cover multiple emerging UHPC applications and UHPC structural design guidance related to the recently approved AASHTO guide specifications for structural design with ultra-high performance concrete. Any questions?
Okay, thank you, Shivani. Okay, and next we have our Organizational Support and Improvement CIA team, and we have Crystal Walker.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Crystal Walker. I work in Human Resources in the Training Unit, and we're just gonna get started. So just a recap, we are in our developmental stage. So for our EDC7, it's the demand for highway workers are growing and emerging technologies require new skills. So within our innovation, it helps stakeholders improve their ability to identify, train, and place highway construction workers. So we want to focus on the expansion of rural tribal communities to increase career opportunities. So with this initiative, Vicki Tillman Ainsley, she's our Civil Rights Director. She gave me some updates. There's not a lot of updates from the last time, but there has been 2 main points she did want to share. So we did, there has been she developed and submitted a proposal to apply for the NJ Build Fund grant. So with that, if approved, these funds will be used to target and support women and minorities interested in pursuing careers in the highway construction industry, and these activities will be executed for our internal and external workforces. And also the second update she did want to refer to was she's working now with the Office of Federal Contractor Compliance Programs, which she previously did some years ago, but the communication has now been opened up again. So within this, she's working now with this office, the OFCCP, who will be helping to support their efforts and establish relationships with many of the construction contract unions. As such, they are helping to develop strategic plans to include the unions and construction contractors' buy-ins. So with this initiative, it's so important that the unions have buy-in. And it's an ongoing meeting. I believe she's actually right now in a meeting with another ongoing meeting. So it's so important that with the OFCCP that they're able to provide a lot of resources and help, because they work a lot with the unions and to build some better foundation so that we can get this initiative growing. So she's very excited that that partnership is now established again. So hopefully that we will have better buy-in with the unions to make sure that our construction workers within that area will increase. Any questions? This was real brief. There's still very ongoing when it comes to this initiative. There's a lot of meetings, but curious if you have any questions as of right now. Okay, that's everything.
Thank you, Crystal. Okay, and last up, we have, oh no, two more, sorry. We have mobility and operations, and we have Madonna Mathur, and Ike, who's just going to sit and watch Madonna talk about it.
So hi, my name is Vandana. I'm new to DOT. I joined in April. So whatever I know, I'm going to just share with you. We are still in the assessment stage. Yeah. We are still in the assessment stage. We are working high on TIM technology. We are using LED flares for any kind of incidents. And it is for nighttime visibility for safety. We have light towers on IMRT vehicles for the same reason, in case there is an accident or any disabled vehicle. Then we have a drive-by that sends real-time alerts for slowdown notifications. If there is any congestion ahead, it just sends out notifications. And then we have TIM training. As you all know, we have just, since we are in the assessment stage, so this is the online TIM training. It's a self-guided online training. It can be assessed. Everything is digital right now. Nobody has time to do in-person training. So we came up with this online, and New Jersey is one of the few states that is doing online TIM training. You can do it at your pace, anytime, 24/7. And it's just 4 or 5 hours training. We encourage everyone to take this, the first responders, and you do get 0.5 CEU, so which is good. And then we have driveways alerts. As mentioned, that we have just started no trucks in the left lane alerts for safety reasons due to accidents, traffic. We are driveways to send the alerts every 15 miles, every 15 minutes, 15 miles to the truckers if they're on the left lane. It has to be 3 or more lanes if they're on the left lane, just for the safety reasons. So we don't want to bombard them with many alerts just because we don't want them to get frustrated while driving. And me and my unit tried this practically. We went on a ride to see at what point we get frustrated, and we realized 15 minutes is a safe time. So we did that. And we have been sending the alerts since August 17, and this came very handy when there was an I-95 collapse, because we talked with drive-bys and they immediately, had the alert sent that there is a traffic ahead, accident ahead, please take a detour. So that came in very handy. Also, we are still in the expansion phase of Weather Savvy. We have a total 41 vehicles where we're installing Weather Savvy equipment. There is a camera, there is LiDARs, there is router, and what they do is they just find out the condition of the roadways, which is very, very good for the snow. So we are expanding, NJIT is with us. So that's what we are doing, just so that we have more precision and accuracy for our statewide road service conditions. That was all from my side. It was brief. Yeah, I hope I have the answer. Go ahead.
With the drive-wise notifications, and this might be a dumb question, but
Nothing is dumb.
is it only going to trucks who are currently in the left lane?
So,
Like it can tell?
no.
Or it's going to anybody who signed up every 15 minutes?
It is for the truckers, but the thing is that we really cannot figure out whether they are in the left
Right.
lane or not.
Right.
So what's happening is just for the safety reasons,
So
we
they're
are
gonna
just
just
sending
get
them.
4
Yeah.
pings an hour?
I thought that technology can come where, from the weight of the truck, it can find out whether it's in the left lane or not. But right now, what it does is just for the safety reasons. And, we also observe that if the roadway is not that long, so just from the beginning point, like they can send the alert.
Mm-hmm.
So we definitely don't want so many alerts going to the truckers because we know they get frustrated. So we are keeping to bare minimum like 15 minutes.
Oh, that's cool. I know that we did like a
With
social media
driveways?
post on, well, we did a social media post on the, TIM training, the online
okay.
TIM training to get more people involved,
Yeah.
and I believe that we are, just trying to educate like our internal comms team about the driveways so that we can speak more,
Definitely, definitely.
educatedly.
And we're encouraging a lot of people to take online training. I mean, whoever I come across, construction worker, I used to work for Department of Corrections. I worked there for 13 or 14 years, and I know they are involved in transporting inmates from one prison to another halfway house. So we'll see how it goes. I did reach out to the assistant commissioner there, and I gave her the option, that we would be happy to collaborate with them, just so that we can get maximum people trained for TIM.
That's great.
Any other questions? I know it's brief. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Donna. Okay. And next up, we have Sudhir Joshi with the Planning and Environment CIA team. And this is the last one.
Thank you, everyone. My name is Sudhir Joshi. I'm a manager in the Bureau of Statewide Strategies in Division of Statewide Planning. And my CIA team partner is Sutaba Bandyopadhyay from FSWA. We have worked on many projects and occasions before, and with her help and expertise, I'm sure we will be successful for the CIA team environment and planning environment. I'll give updates on
Is it on still?
So I'll give updates on two different projects that waste coming. Two different projects, National Electric Vehicle Infrastructure Program and carbon reduction strategies that my bureau is handling. Under Mike's leadership, we had started this project, National Electric Vehicle Infrastructure Program, and we at this point we have submitted the updated Navy deployment plan to Federal High for during this summertime, and we expect a response regarding the certification this fall, which is now. Sometime it should be coming very soon, and then NJDOT's goal is to engage with the public and the electric vehicle charging industry this fall, prior to releasing the first round of Navy procurement for DC fast charging stations along the interstate highway corridors in New Jersey. And I have Krishna Tripathi here, who is now in charge of the procurement side of this Navy program. And if anybody has any questions, please ask me. If I cannot answer, she is definitely going to answer those questions. All right, so now we're going to move on to the next project that we are handling. So this is draft carbon reduction strategies that our bureau is working on. Our goal is to send this review. Our final draft would be sent to our senior leadership in the department, and with their comments, once we get everything okay from them, we'll send it to the external members of the carbon reduction working group. And then based on everyone's comments, our goal is to revise the draft and circulate the near final strategy document. The investment strategies will be reflected in the future MPO, regional transportation plans, RTPs, and the transportation improvement programs, TIPs, for the MPOs. And the final strategy will be submitted to Federal Highway by the November 15th, which is the deadline. And then, of course, Federal Highway would have 90 days to certify or provide us their comments or deny certification. So here was the timeline. So we started in December of 2022. and we had collaborated with our MPO partners and within the department. We came up with the draft. In July, somewhere we had the draft CRS document completed. Now it's within our bureau that, my division, that we are finalizing the draft, and then our goal is to share it with the commissioner's office for their comments. Once we get their blessings, we're gonna share it with the all other partners outside. And once we get that done, we are hoping that would be very soon, this fall. And then our goal is to finalize and share this document with Federal Highway by November 15th of this year. Anybody has any questions on either programs? Good, so I did my good job. Thank you.
Okay, so everything that you just heard about is related to Everyday Counts Round 7. And you can see the second page of your agenda packet has information about each of those initiatives. So, you can read about it, learn more about it. There's websites there. So that's what you heard about from all of the CIA teams. And now we're going to get right into our feature presentation. We have SJTPO coming up, and they're going to talk about their innovative approaches to traffic safety education. I'm just going to introduce you really quick, Robert Clark. He's a traffic safety specialist with the SJTPO who provides traffic safety programs for schools, community groups, and the public. He's a former Atlantic City police officer and has over 25 years of experience in traffic reconstruction. So with that, I'll turn it over to you.
I want to thank you for allowing me to come here, and I've been listening to you guys talk, and you guys are doing a great job. However, I'm the guy that always would come out after when the cars crash and investigate how and why. So I did it for Atlantic City for, like I said, I did 25 years. And then I also did the county. So I've done several hundred fatal crashes and investigated them. Certified as an accident reconstructionist, expert in court. I have my own business now, and I do it on the civil side. But again, we can't really plan for that. Two young kids that borrow dad's Porsche and go around a curve at 125 miles. Actually, they were traveling 145. Then they slow down at a curve at 125, hit a drainage ditch and go airborne and go through a building. So, we can't design roadways for people like that. Well, we actually do. It's called NASCAR. But but we really can't design. So we design the roadways the best for these people, the normal drivers. Guys driving down the road drinking Pearl hand sanitizer. He's a .34, which is 4 times the legal limit. He crashes into another car. Again, it's very hard to plan for these people drinking. And I never realized Pearl hand sanitizer until COVID came around. But it contains 80% ethyl alcohol. So. So I retired in 2010, and in 2000 I decided I'm going to go to the private sector. Interesting, the private sector doesn't pay for a 2.5-hour lunch. So I didn't like that. So I decided I'm going to do this. And then I got this great opportunity to work at SJTPO and do these things. And we have a lot of really good, it's Ford, right? We had Wayne Shelton, he's a retired trooper, and my boss Jen is an executive director of SJTO. She's great. She basically, go do your job. What are you doing? We check in. We say here we're a calendar. We're going. But we've really expanded to a bunch of things. Defensive driving. We're doing it for Atlantic County now. All county employees are doing defensive driving. 6 hours. They get their certificate. They get a little insurance discount. So they like it, and the feedback's been great. Wayne is a child safety technician, and he's expert in that. And I apply my crash stuff on the civil side too. And so now we only do the defensive driving. We apply our trades to it. And our executive of highway safety, Christine Waltman, is now taking over Cape May County, and she just told us we are expanding to Cape May. We've actually had people come in and do it twice. I'm like, what did you hear back for? He goes, I liked it. And I'm like, well, it's good for 3 years. Well, I'm going to come back. So, okay, whatever. We just teamed up with the Hero Campaign. We got a driving simulator. Nothing like that driving simulator out there. This is a little portable one. I got a little computer screen. But we do it for seniors only. And so they're driving, and it's pretty good. It detects. It's interesting is how do you reward a kid that we put behind this driving simulator? And he actually texts a number, and it texts back and forth, and they got to text back and forth. We've never had anybody complete the driving thing. They've always crashed. So it's pretty interesting. And I told me, I was like, I'd like to get Wawa gift cards, but then again, like, how am I going to reward this kid that can text and drive and beat the simulator? I'm like, it's not going to work. So we do that. That was started last year, and that's through a grant through Honda, and with the Hero campaign, we're trying to get another one. But again, it's tough. We get about 6 to 8 minutes per senior. We need kids that are driving to do it. Unlike Andy, you drive? I think the commission's out here, I think they need to take that license from us, right? Right, Dan? You watched them for. So most dangerous place, we're looking at the kids that are just getting going through the licensing phase, and we come in and we talk to them. And one of the things we really hit on is I love education, and I'm going to come in and I'm not going to tell you have to do this and have to do that, but I'm going to educate you on why does a seatbelt work? Because a lot of these kids come in and say, seatbelts are dangerous. Well, why? Because a lot of it comes from the parents, or from a myth that somehow they obtained through school or through whatever. But we sort of go through seatbelts. We try to see about safety, about driving. I don't get much into situations, but we're basically just hitting them, touching on them, showing them some crashes, showing them the airbag system in the car and the seatbelts. This is my baby. I got this actually from a Somerset County prosecutor, Bill Poley, and I took it and I sort of put it in my own perspective. Car crashes is basic physics. So I started with the physics classes. I don't do this to the end of the year. So they've already had all their stuff about energy and all this other stuff belonging with physics. And I go in and say, hey, I'm going to relate it to physics. And we do a little bit of math. And so I have all the physics level kids. And you get really kids that want to learn and absorb what you're trying to explain to them. And it's really great because you get in and you give them real life scenarios. We do a lot of crash scenarios, a lot of crash projects. We teach them, those tire marks you ever see on the roadway? Yep. That's not made from the tire. That's actually made from the asphalt melting and taking shape of what the tire is doing. And in police world, and I teach the police officers, just finished up at Ocean County advanced course, we teach the officers how to read that evidence on the roadway and apply physics to it. That's math. Yeah, there's math involved with police work. And then they tell them, how fast is the car going based upon these marks? Is the car braking? Is the car going to what we call yaw, where it's lost its lateral stability? That road only provides enough friction, depending on what the conditions are. Today, beautiful day. We have great friction values today. When it starts raining, that stuff drops. So again, we apply that physics and we apply math, and the kids see this stuff and they're like, oh. And then we get into energy. Why does speed kill? Energy. It's just too much energy. Your car can't handle that. So, but I've also taken it now to anatomy, to their forensics and anatomy. So we do autopsies. And we all know New Jersey's pedestrians. We're pretty high in pedestrians. I worked in Atlantic City. Let me tell you what, I got a lot of expertise with pedestrians getting hit. I've had pedestrians get hit in wheelchairs, regular, high speed, I've gone to scenes and you actually say, oh my God, there's shoes. Oh, the foot's still in there. Okay, let's leave that. When those pedestrians get hit, they don't fare too well. So we do a lot with pedestrians. Every part of our component has a pedestrian module in it. We talk about, again, getting hit. So again, bring it to those kids, and the kids are great. I've actually had kids in my class who are savants who could square numbers up to 4 and square root numbers and tell you to 5 to 6 places in their heads. So it's really interesting. We have a share of keys. We partner up with NJM Insurance Company, and we do at the schools, and that's a parent-teen orientation, where now we're taking our stuff and we're taking it back to the parents. Because remember, these kids are getting these licenses, and they have a GDL. They have certain restrictions. So we explain to the parents why these restrictions are there. Not just they're there just to torture you, but we've really reduced our fatal rate with these kids getting their licenses with the state. However, we look after they get off their GDL about 21, the fatal rates really start to go back up. Belts on bones, we do this with the school kids, teaching them again the safety belts, the car seats, trying to educate the kids so that when they get with the parents, sometimes we don't get contacts with the parents a lot, unless one share the keys. And we explain to the parents about the car seats. Child passenger safety seats, we do this a lot, and that's actually what Wayne's teaching right now. He's tied up with that. Believe it or not, when I first started this, I'm like, wait a minute, we're going to take the really old people and get them back in their cars? Isn't that sort of, you don't want to do that? But interesting, I love this. We go to senior centers, we go in and we have a thing called Car Fit, and it's basically an assessment. We give them a little bit of in-house instruction, and then we actually take them to their own cars and we put them in their cars and we find out. And we have a lot of little, like, and the biggest thing I think is the seat cushion. It raises them up about 2.5 inches. Yeah, because it's hard to see when they're up the dash. The dashboard's here. So we raise them up a little bit, and interesting, you know, they actually are very good drivers, and that's statistics show that the elderly are not the ones crashing. So we do a lot with that. So you know, and we also talk to the kids. You know, airbag control modules. We talk about how the seats fit. So for example, you get a head-on car crash. That crash is over in about 100 milliseconds. 100 milliseconds. It takes you 300 milliseconds to blink your eye. So explain to kids how fast this occurs, and again, why the airbags and systems and stuff like that. We explain to them those airbags will start strategically coming out. Every car sold in America has an airbag system. And it actually, 2019, the federal government said you got to be ready to go in 5 milliseconds. So that car actually in 5 milliseconds starts strategically, what plane am I going to do? Well, based upon who's sitting where, who's belted. So we explain to kids, you know, all that stuff. And then that car sets off these airbags, the multi-stage airbags, and does all that stuff. So we again, teach the kids. And then ultimately I get into the airbag control module with the event data recorder. Every car sold in America has an airbag system. However, after the airbags deploy, the federal government says, NHTSA, you must record the crash. The car must record at least 5 seconds of pre-crash data. And let me tell you what, 5 seconds is great in my world. Now I've been seeing a lot of stuff. Toyota records back almost 10 years in an airbag control module system. So if you got a Toyota 2019 and you got any driving autonomous features on it, Toyota's also recording it. And I heard there's a couple other car manufacturers. Now we just saw, it was down in Orlando, Burla, who makes the entertainment systems. They're recording everything in that car about your phones and stuff. So let me tell you what, when you get in that car is recording everything you do. And that's what I always tell the kids. And they're like, really? I'm like, yeah. Not only is mom and dad doing Life 360 on you, or Find My iPhone, your car is recording everything you do in that car. And then they're like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah. So you can't turn these features off in these cars. So again, you relate the system to those kids, and you know, yeah, have our fatal rates in the last two years prior went up 30%. Yeah, but we're starting to come back down now. I don't know if it's COVID. I don't know. Everything's blamed on COVID. Jen left me some notes real quick about funding, and I just want to say, Bob is one of the greatest guys I've ever met, and he's so intelligent. Wait, that's her thoughts. I'm sorry. Poor Jen. No. Wait. How do I get up to? So their funding is through the. How do I get this? Read this part a little bigger. Okay. You guys with the acronyms. Oh my God. Basically, funding through the highway safety programs. She's able to take money. We used to have a grant with Division of Highway Safety, and we sort of had drifted away from that. That bought us a lot of our trailers and some of those stuff we have. So basically, we're just a funding through the planning organization of the 4 counties, South Jersey's, and she takes this money, and if she pays us an hourly rate, we go out and we educate these kids, as it implies a safety education coordination and collaboration task, allocates about $70,000, and that usually pays. Again, it's a part-time for me and Wayne. We don't do it all the time because again, we're like Wayne's doing the CPS stuff now, teaching. We don't get paid through that. I got paid just last 2 weeks through Keene University teaching the officers the crash program. So we're not there all the time. Our programs usually, summertime we're basically off. We do a little bit of stuff with the seniors and a little bit of defensive driving, but most of the summers are off for us. My wife's a school teacher and it works out really good with having the summers off. If you want, I said you can email Jen and she'll throw the whole thing to you by how the numbers are worked. I don't want to bore you with all those numbers and all these acronyms, which I have no idea what they mean. But we are reducing our carbon fiber footprint with our, no, just kidding. Any questions? I mean, okay. Thank you very much for allowing me to come here and really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bob, Andy has a question.
Oh, Andy.
Oh, go ahead.
Yes.
Your defensive driving course, Do you offer that in New Jersey or just South Jersey?
We are, right now, we're only at Atlantic, Cape May, Cumberland, and Salem. Actually, Salem does exist, you guys, if you ever heard of it, it's down south. But it's only the 4 counties in the south that we do the program through. You know, we had ventured to the DVRPC region, and we've done some of those areas. Again, in partnership with the DVRPC. We've done some of that. But I don't know, I said, I know there's some organizations that do up here. We don't charge a fee. Actually, there is a $10 fee for a motor vehicle to put it on your abstract, and motor vehicle charges that. So, but everything else is paid, the books are everything is paid through Atlantic County's highway safety. Christine got the books. We have some books also. But yeah, we would love to come up, but I'm sure, you know, if, I'm not too far, because I'll tell you what, if you're in Bergen, forget it. You guys got, let me tell you what, traffic?
I mean,
Oh yeah, you guys with the traffic are ridiculous up there. I'm sorry, 609 is the way to fit.
Thanks again, Bob. Okay, so we do have a couple printouts about those traffic safety education programs here at the front. You can grab them, or they're also available on the website here on SJTPO's website. So, you know, you can grab a packet if you want, or you can just do the virtual greener option and look at the website there. So thanks again to Bob. Now we have a couple announcements and reminders. But first up, I'm going to call up Jivan Singh from our Bureau of Safety, Bicycle and Pedestrian Programs to tell us about NJDOT's Safety Resource Center.
I have to do a little weight to get around then.
meaning I have to lose a little bit more weight.
Potato.
Thank you. Today I guess I'm here to talk about the Safety Resource Center, and one thing that I do want to, what did I do?
It's okay.
She just told me the other button was the button to move, and I didn't touch that button, but it moved. So the Safety Resource Center, and one thing I want to stress about the Safety Resource Center, it's more than a website. We will have the website up and running soon. We're awaiting comments from our front office. We did a presentation to the commissioner and senior leadership on September 21st. We're awaiting her comments on that. And once we have her comments, address her comments, we will move forward with doing a little beta testing with our beta focus group, and then we'll launch the website. But till we do that, I'll go about the other elements of the Safety Resource Center and what it does for safety in New Jersey. The mission of the Safety Resource Center is to serve as a one-stop destination for comprehensive roadway safety information. When I say one-stop, I really mean one-stop. It is talking about FSWA trainings that are being offered. It's talking about locals, NJTPA, SJTPO, DVRPC, safety information stuff, safety campaigns, and we're also doing lunch and learn sessions. I'm sure some of you, or most of you, hopefully, have been part of those lunch and learn sessions. We've been getting very good attendance at those sessions. So literally, we'll talk about funding, we'll discuss funding, we'll provide guidance on funding opportunities available, not just through the Highway Safety Improvement Program, but other funding availabilities for, let's say, our Transportation Alternatives Program or other such funding opportunities for locals. The vision of the Safety Resource Center is to be the essential source of, and I will underline, trustworthy information that motivates and empowers all New Jerseyans to make our roadways safer, whether we are transportation professionals, whether we're commuters, whether we're pedestrians or bicyclists. With the purpose and a goal of getting to zero by 2050. Zero deaths by 2050 is our goal, and we need to empower New Jersey roadway users, either New Jerseyans or visitors, by giving them the information, the inspiration, and the motivation to stay safe on our roadways. So as I was discussing, we have some elements of the Safety Resource Center. We have the website that I just discussed. We will be sharing that with a select focus group shortly after addressing the front office comments. We will also, at the same time we launch the website, we'll also launch our social media presence, specifically on LinkedIn. And then we'll tie into the NJDOT social media network for all the other social media options. One of the biggest things that the Safety Resource Center does is the implementation of the New Jersey's 2020 Strategic Highway Safety Plan. Most of the people that I see around this room are involved in the Strategic Highway Safety Plan implementation. And really, we're thankful for that because it is volunteers and passionate safety champions such as all of you here and the people that are involved. Close to 200 stakeholders that are involved in the SHSP implementation, and they have sustained that involvement over the last 3 years. So we have about, I have numbers. Why am I not looking at the numbers? So we have 25, so a brief overview of the Strategic Highway Safety Plan. It is a requirement for the Highway Safety Improvement Program, and it consists of 7 emphasis areas. We've listed 7 emphasis areas as something that we need to work on. 2 of them are overarching. One is data, the other is equity. And equity is also codified as the 5th E in our safety equation in the Strategic Highway Safety Plan. Plus, it is also integrated into every action that we do at the Strategic Highway Safety Plan. So we have a safety liaison on every priority action in the Strategic Highway Safety Plan. We initially had a list of close to 100 priority actions. 25 of those priority actions are complete. And we are looking into 23 more priority actions in the process of completion right now. And we are in the process of adding about 10 more for year 3. So it is a significant effort that is being led by the Safety Resource Center. Then, of course, we are also doing public campaigns. We're sharing and collaborating with not just our front office with the Work Zone Safety Campaign. We're also working on sharing the safety campaigns from SJTPO and also from NJTPA, DBRTC regions, as well as nationally. Our FHWA liaisons have been very helpful to us. They have shared with us information on some safety campaigns that have been unveiled at the national level that we can work on. We are also collaborating with our peers from other states to see if there is additional safety campaign material that we can get from them that can be adapted to New Jersey conditions. Then I talked about the training program. Right now we're starting with we have started with the lunch and learn sessions. We've had 9 of those lunch and learn sessions, and we will be doing one on an average every 6 weeks. We're trying to increase or decrease the frequency because 6 weeks comes by very quickly, guys, and to come up with a plan on what we're going to talk about and develop a presentation, get the presenters and get that all rolling is, in addition to everything else, is a significant effort. But what we're also doing is developing trainings that are longer than your lunch and learns. While we like the fact that we can give you bite-sized information, but we also want to go into depth, dive deeper into some topics, such as the one we're working on right now is a safe system approach training that we're developing from a New Jersey perspective. So what we do here, what we have been doing here, and how we need to modify that outlook to fit into a safe system approach. And then, of course, as every resource center, we do some event management where we hold meetings and conferences. And the shameless plug, the next one coming up for all of you will be the October 24th Safety Summit at the College of New Jersey, and this is in person. So that is my spiel on the Safety Resource Center. Thank you very much for the opportunity. If
You
you,
had mentioned, I think people in the room will specified safety program.
okay, so one of the key points for us to be able to do all this, in addition to our Highway Safety Improvement Program planning funds, is with the bipartisan infrastructure law, we have the ability now, under specified safety programs, to fund educational campaigns, to fund equipment, to fund outreach. So starting 2024 in our statewide transportation improvement program, what you will see is a line item by specified safety programs. We will be working very closely with our Office of Communications and also with our stakeholders and our partners to help wherever we can in order to help with the education, safety education at all levels. Actually, that gives us the ability to go for school children education from K to 12. So that gives you the ability to talk about driving education for kids. And in addition to that, and Brandy, I'll send you the Safety Resource Center email ID. If you have any questions, you want some guidance on safety information or whatever we can share, please reach out to us through the Safety Resource Center email ID that Brandy will be sharing with all of you through her magic. Thank you, everyone.
Just to add on, everybody, just to add on to that, the specified safety program, it was not available 2 or 3 years ago. The HSIP program was not really able to fund education, safety campaigns, PSAs. This lets us actually coordinate with our state police, with enforcement, to do efforts as such. It lets you do safety campaigns. It adds to our Safe Routes to School program. So things that we were not able to do and which we struggled to do internally, as well as, through the MPOs, we can now do. So it's a big deal. We could fund up to, believe 10% of our HSIP monies, which is around $7.3 million per year, to do this. So it's a big deal, and it's in our fiscal year 24 in the STIC. It's a program. So if you want to go back and tell Jen that, and I think Vanessa's already aware that we could fund PSAs and safety campaigns with this money, whatever's needed. So there we go. Thanks.
That's how you eat the manager.
I know we're staying a little late. We have the room till 4 o'clock. We're here till 3:30, so just a little bit more. Next up, we are going to hear one more presentation about the 2023 National Build a Better Mousetrap winner. The project was the Route 71 over Shark River Road Diet, and it won in the Bold Steps Award category. So join me in congratulating and welcoming Gerald Oliveto and his team.
You look good on camera, too.
Thank you.
Or this kid's toy would be good.
Oh, I'll get to this. Space bunner or just the, okay. All right, so thank you for having me. While my name was on the application, it was truly a department effort, this award. So about 10 or 15 minutes of this presentation. I promise it has lots of pictures. So just a little bit of background. That is the bridge right there. That's Route 71 over the Shark River. It is a double leaf bascule drawbridge. For those that don't know what a leaf is, it's the part of the bridge that raises. So there are 2 on this bridge, the double leaf bridge. It spans the Shark River between Avon by the Sea and Belmar. Constructed in 1932 at a cost of $413,000. It's also our most beautiful bridge, awarded the 1933 Most Beautiful Bridge Award by the American Institute of Steel Construction. It's also historic, listed on the National Register of Historic Places. This is so confusing, too slow. It's our busiest drawbridge. It has over 5,000 openings for marine traffic annually. It's one of two DOT drawbridges that staff 24/7. Seasonal vehicular traffic, as you can imagine, down the shore. But year-round, we see heavy pedestrian and bicycle traffic over this bridge. So just a little bit of like geographic information here. It's the second of 4 bridges from the Atlantic Ocean. So we have Ocean Avenue over here, then you get to Route 71, then New Jersey Transit, and then Route 35. So Route 71 offers 13 feet of clearance in the closed position. Ocean Avenue has 15 feet closed, New Jersey Transit is 8 foot closed, and then Route 35 is 50 feet fixed since 2004. So anything going through our bridge or through Route 71 has to be less than 50 feet tall.
Excuse me, could you go back there a second and do that again? Which bridges are which?
Sure.
Ocean
Ocean Avenue, that's Monmouth County. 71, that's ours. New Jersey Transit, and then Route 35, which is ours. DOTs.
Okay.
Got it?
Yeah. No, I'm just looking at the clearance heights and they're vastly different.
They're all over. Yeah.
Okay.
Route 35 was a twin of 71 until it came down in 2004. So it's 50 foot fixed. So anything going under there has to be less than 50 feet.
Okay, thank you.
Just a little bit of background, just so you know like where we are and what we're talking about. So the safety features, this will get to be important later in the presentation, but it has a myriad of safety features on this bridge to prevent malfunctions. Bridge traffic signals, preempted traffic signals at the adjacent intersection, warning gongs, warning gates, barrier gates, and span locks. So just to go through what each one of them are, the warning gates, they are these gates here. They come down just as the light turns red to alert drivers that the bridge is going up. Then the barrier gates, they're those big beefy barrier gates behind the warning gate. They come down, and when they lock into place, they physically prevent a car from going into the open drawbridge. And then the span locks, they're kind of like a deadbolt on your door. When the bridge is in the fully closed position, the span locks will engage. It'll keep the bridge locked into position, keep it from bouncing, keeping it from opening unexpectedly. So they all work in unison with each other. We go through testing, we make sure that everything's working and everything's working in sequence. So just to show you where everything is, the green squares, they're the bridge traffic signals and the warning gongs. The yellow is the warning gates. The red are the barrier gates. They form a physical barrier when the bridge is going up. And then the blue are the span locks. So the span locks are kind of the whole topic of discussion as to why we did what we did out here. So for those that don't know how a drawbridge operates, this is the opening sequence. The Marine call will come into the bridge house via radio or telephone. The operator is going to monitor all his cameras, turn the traffic signals to red when they're safe, when it's safe to do so, when there's no traffic, no pedestrians. And that'll activate the flashing lights and the warning gongs. Then the operator is going to ensure that all traffic is stopped and clear of the gates, because there's always people running the gates, there's always pedestrians trying to run the gates. He'll lower the warning gates. He'll lower the barrier gates. The oncoming come down first, then the offgoing come down second. Then the span locks are disengaged. Then there's an air horn on the bridge. It's sounded 2 long blasts, and then the bridge is raised. And then when the boat is safely through the bridge, we do it all in reverse. The vessel captain notifies the bridge house that the vessel is clear of the bridge. The operator ensures that marine traffic is clear of the bridge. Then that same horn is sounded 5 short blasts. The bridge goes down, the span locks are engaged, the barrier gates are raised in the opposite direction, offgoing first, then the oncoming gates. The warning gates go up, the operator turns the traffic signals to green, and then he gets in his house and just hides as everybody goes for a big free-for-all. It takes 7 minutes from red light to green light. So as soon as that light turns red for the call, if you're there, if you're the first car, it's 7 minutes from red light until that light turns green again. So September 22nd, 2021, we had a failure of one of our span locks. So like I mentioned earlier, we have 3 span locks for safe operation of the bridge. The center span lock failed during the 3rd lift of the morning. Weather conditions were the same as today, partly cloudy, 70 degrees. There was no adverse weather conditions, and we had no previous significant events with the span locks. So what had happened was when the bridge was raised, that center span lock, like a deadbolt on your door, just engaged itself. There were no indications that anything was wrong in the operator's booth. And the operator initiated his closing sequence as usual, not knowing anything was wrong. So as the bridge was coming down, you can see the span lock was engaged. The two leaves kind of crashed into each other, and the span lock hit the other leaf and damaged the structural steel. So the bridge had wedged itself shut. We couldn't get it open. We couldn't get it closed. Just some more pictures of the damage out there. The lock bar was extended on the far side, and then you can see the damage where they hit the steel and the receiver pocket. So even if we did get this back into position, there was no way that we could reuse any of the existing machinery. Some damage from the other side, or from the underside rather, some of the bent steel, and then you can see in this picture just some of the damage. So our emergency response, we went through our procedures, standard operating procedure for a drawbridge failure. We notified the U.S. Coast Guard that the bridge was inoperable, notified the local police. We had Route 71 shut down. You can see that's the picture of the bridge right there during the incident. Our DOT crews implemented a detour. The public was alerted via 511, VMS boards, social media. We got the message out as far as we could that Route 71 was shut down. A detour was set up. The nice thing about this bridge is the parallel Route 35 bridge. You can see it right here. It's a rather easy detour. We also had 2 boats out at sea that they had to be notified the bridge was inoperable and they couldn't come back in until we had it fixed. And then we sent out our movable bridge engineering team and our WSP consultant out to the site. So in response to it, our on-call contractor was on the scene, and we immediately determined that center span lock was just not reusable. So that hardware was cut out so we could lower the bridge. And then we were able to bypass all the electric feeding that span lock. And that allowed us to at least raise the bridge to remove all the damaged components. And we were also able to get those boats that were at sea back into port. Our movable bridge engineering group and DOT's on-call contractor were on scene, like I mentioned. The operators panel had to be reconfigured that day to allow operation with the remaining 2 span locks, because we have an interlock procedure that wouldn't allow us to do anything until all of that was bypassed. And the programming was revised to prevent a similar malfunction on the bridge. So we put in a couple more checks and balances. Should that engage, at least we would get some kind of indication on the board. So the bridge was able to be reopened to marine traffic the same day. And like I mentioned, we were able to get those boats at sea, at least back in. We left the bridge open in the raised position. It was open to marine traffic. It was closed to roadway traffic. It kind of looked like an abandoned drawbridge like you see on the railroads. We left it like that overnight until we can come back out the next day and further evaluate and see what we can do. So the cause of the failure was a failed proximity switch. So those activate, they're kind of like a laser. When the laser lines up, it gives the indication that the bridge is in the proper position, and that'll allow the span lock to engage. For whatever reason, that laser gave an indication while the bridge was raised, and it engaged the lock without giving us the indication on the board. So it was just a failed switch, just a small piece of machinery that caused this major failure. All the proximity switches from that batch that we had installed, we made sure we went back around to the bridges and we removed them and we replaced them with another batch. And we were able to evaluate the bridge for operation with the remaining 2 span locks. So like I mentioned, we had 3, the center one was damaged, but we still had the 2 on the outside underneath the 2 curb lines. But almost immediately we had pressure from the towns. Same day, how soon can you get it back open? So this time of year, you know, the shore towns, they're trying to get people down there after Labor Day. It's the shoulder season. Couple days later, it was 3 days later, we were able to at least open that bridge to 1 lane in each direction. So you can see there in the picture, we had that center lane closed, and we were able to get traffic away from that damaged center section of the steel. We had that outside right lane going southbound, and the other lane, the 1 lane going northbound. But we knew that that wasn't going to hold up, so we needed a plan for the remaining life of the bridge. The bridge is programmed for a replacement in the near future. At least the next 10 years, we're looking at replacing it with another drawbridge. So we studied 3 options. Option 1 was just leave the bridge in its current condition. Option 2 was to replace that center span lock and restore everything back to its pre-failure condition. And option 3 was a road diet across the structure. So I'll go through this real quick. Option one was just to maintain the structure in the existing condition. That would have left all that damaged steel and opened it back up to 3 lanes. It was the lowest upfront cost. It would have kept the bridge open to traffic, but it would have advanced deterioration of the machinery, and it would have caused premature and uneven wearing of the machinery. Any failure with the bridge in that condition would have caused an imminent closure, and we wouldn't know how long it would be. And there was concern with 3 heavy vehicles crossing the bridge simultaneously. So there are tractor trailers out there, there are landscape trucks, dump trucks, so there was a concern that there could be 3 heavy trucks crossing the bridge at the same time. And then we didn't want to load post the bridge, given that it's a state highway. In this picture here, I put this here because this is Brielle Road over the Glimmerglass in Manasquan. That bridge has a 3-ton weight limit. So Manasquan can't even get fire trucks over this bridge from one side to the other. They have to go all around town. The locals fight it when you try to replace it or talk about replacement. We didn't want to get into a situation like this where you have a 3-ton weight limit or any kind of weight limit on a state highway. So option 2 was to restore the structure to the pre-failure condition. This was the highest option. Repairs began at $3.5 million. It was during COVID. There was a lot of production delays at the time. It was very complex. It would have required a lot of electrical design, a lot of steel repairs. The biggest thing was extended roadway and sidewalk closures. We were looking at a minimum of 6 months, extended marine outages. There's a very big commercial fishing industry out here. We didn't want to close that bridge. We couldn't close that bridge to them because that would have cut off their livelihood. There was some balancing implications with steel removal, and we just had general concerns of performing such repairs on a 1932 drawbridge. It's 90 years old. We didn't really want to get into something like this on something that's going to be coming down in the near future. So option 3, this is obviously what we went with, but this was the road diet. When this reduced the roadway to 1 lane in each direction, it was a low-cost solution. We were able to quickly implement it, properly balance the traffic load away from that damaged steel. There was no live load where that damaged steel was, where the center span lock had been, and we were able to preserve the remaining lifespan of the structure. We're anticipating that this road diet is going to get us into replacement, and we won't have to do any major repairs to the bridge. And then given that we had a 50-foot wide deck, that gave the option for bicycle traffic and some other safety improvements that I'll get into. So just the cost benefit analysis that we looked at here. The option 3 with the road diet was just a very clear path forward. So what is a road diet? FHWA says that it's removing a travel lane from a roadway and utilizing the space for other uses and travel modes. It creates improved quality of life along a corridor. It's a low-cost solution to increase multimodal safety, a reduction in overall crashes, and it provides more space on the roadway for bicycles and pedestrians, and also an overall reduction in traffic speeds. So historically, Route 71 was a major highway. It was a 4-lane highway with a double yellow. It had limited parking. In 2004, that all changed when we constructed the Route 35 fixed span. Route 35 became our arterial, and then Route 71 became kind of the local road. So Avon by the Sea was one of the first towns along Route 71 to do this. It was called the Streetscape in 2004, and they reduced the road to 1 lane in each direction, as you can see here. So there's nice islands there, there's plantings, there's left turn lanes, parking. But that's an old picture. If you ever want to go down a rabbit hole, historicaerials.com is a great site for just looking at old satellite images. That's an old satellite image of Route 71. You can see the double yellow and then the 2 lanes in each direction. But when the Streetscape project was done, Route 71 over Shark River was kind of neglected. The northbound right lane across the bridge was converted to a shoulder. On the southbound side, there was a short 1,200-foot 2-lane section across the bridge. We noticed very aggressive driving across the bridge. You'd get the people that didn't know it was a 2-lane section. You get people passing them on the right. There were backups from left-turning vehicles on the southbound side when you get into 5th Avenue and Belmar. There were bicycles riding in the right lanes. It was just kind of an accident waiting to happen, and it created an overall disconnect between both towns. So given that we were going to go forward with the road diet, we had the 50-foot roadway width, and it allowed for bicycle facilities. So we wanted to include that in the project. We had to include a 10-foot striped center median to get traffic away from that damaged steel. We kept a 12-foot lane in each direction, a 3-foot separation between the lane and the bicycle lane, and a 5-foot bike lane in both directions across the bridge. And then when we get into Belmar, the bicycle lanes were extended across the bridge from Avon by the Sea into Belmar. Elimination of a rather dangerous merge in downtown Belmar where that southbound 2-lane section merged back into one. We were able to put in a dedicated left turn lane at Route 71 southbound and 5th Avenue, and we were able to add additional parallel parking spots in Avon by the Sea. So getting the bicycle lane across the bridge, we used a first of its kind in New Jersey, a fiberglass reinforced polymer plate across the steel grade bascule span. Chicago uses them. This is the Dearborn Street over Chicago River. There's just a street view of it. You can see how Chicago uses it. We adapted it and put it onto the Route 71 bridge, first of its kind here. It was lightweight. It wouldn't really affect the span balance. And then we took our plan and we took it to the front office and we wanted to pitch it to the towns. But like I mentioned earlier, there was significant internal coordination within DOT. Not only was it a drawbridge project, we had to get our regional operations folks involved, structural engineering was involved, traffic engineering was involved, our sign shop had to make up all the signs, the Office of Government and Community Relations, they were great, they had to deal with all the towns, let them know what was going on. And we presented it to Avon by the Sea and Belmar. Belmar easily accepted it, no problem, whatever we wanted to do out there. It was Avon by the Sea that gave us some trouble. So they fought, they sent letters from senators and congressmen. The team was really ready to turn back after seeing how much opposition that Avon was giving us. So we had a meeting with Avon by the Sea, and that's where this comes into play. This little toy drawbridge that I had when I was a kid. We brought it with them, and this was what kind of won the war. This is really just a drawbridge in its simplest form. But given this, we were able to kind of show the higher ups in Avon why we were doing what we were doing, the cause of the failure. We had a real fancy PowerPoint, but it was really this that they latched onto. Just showing them in almost like children's terms how a drawbridge operates and why we needed to do what we needed to do. So this was a Micro Machines drawbridge from when I was a kid. And it's actually the second time in recorded history that Micro Machines have saved the day. The first, of course, being in 1990. So we had the meeting with Avon by the Sea, and after we showed them everything and explained what we needed to do, they had a couple requests for extra work to be included in the project. They were really simple requests, and I'll just show you some pictures of what they requested. We were able to accommodate every request that they presented to us. So then they agreed upon the road diet, and we were able to move forward with it. So their extra work requests were high visibility hatching at all the crosswalks through town. They wanted a left turn arrow at Route 71 and 5th Avenue. They were concerned about backups into Belmar. Enhanced guide signs on Route 35, Memorial Drive, and Sylvania Avenue. They actually did not want Avon to be a control city on all the guide signs. They said that they were getting a lot of Belmar traffic going into Avon, cutting through Avon, getting to Avon thinking they were in Belmar. So they wanted Avon removed as all of the control cities on the guide sign. It's like, fine, so we made everything into Belmar. We coordinated with Monmouth County for upgrades to Sylvania Avenue, which is just another corridor through town. And we coordinated with the major GPS companies to properly route Belmar traffic into Belmar. Because that's what they were saying. A lot of the GPS companies were sending them down local roads in Avon. They weren't sticking to the state highways. So we were able to work with them to do that. Public outreach, I don't know if you're going to have this posted, but there was a link that was posted to our social media pages, our YouTube pages. They wanted us to do an educational video just alerting the public of what was going to be done. So that link is there. I could always send it to you if you wanted to send it out too. Just in the interest of time, we're not going to play it. So we were able to do the work in 2 phases. The first phase was grinding of all the traffic lines, just pretty much restriping the road, realigning the traffic signals, installing those left turn lanes, and just some of the warning gates and just safety items on the bridge. The second phase was a month later, and that's when we were able to get the FRP panels installed on the bridge. install those new green signs that Avon wanted, and then the coordination with the GPS companies was complete. So all told, about 2 months of work. It was all done before July 4th of 2022. We wanted to get done before Memorial Day. It just didn't happen. But we were able to get it done before July 4th of last year. So the rest, I promise, is all pictures. Oops. So that's what it looked like before we began any of the work. That was the next day with all the grinding. That was when we had the roads ironed in, preliminary stripes, and that was the completed project. And just again, from the street view, the grinding, getting preliminary striping, and then the completed projects. So that was the hatcheting that they wanted. We were able to do 18 intersections between both Avon and Belmar, just high visibility striping at all those intersections. Just realignment of the traffic signals. We had to realign them per code to get everything back over the travel lanes. There were 2 lanes. We had to readjust them back into 1. And then we installed side-mounted heads just so the people and pedestrians could see them in the bike lanes too. That's that dedicated left turn lane. It has an 8-vehicle queuing capacity. And we were able to adjust our gate lengths and gate widths just so that it adheres to the new roadway configuration. Oh, there it is again, the dedicated left turn lane. We have a protected permitted signal at that intersection, and it's also preempted with bridge operation. So when the bridge is up, 5th Avenue will go on forever and Route 71 is stopped. We were able to clean up a little bit of odds and ends in Belmar. Also, this is also the 5th Avenue intersection. This was a 2-lane approach with a 1-lane receiving, or just 1 receiving lane on the other side. We were able to put in a dedicated left turn lane here and a through right lane just to clean that up to avoid any kind of confusion. And there it is. There's the bike lane going over the bridge and the new panels that we put on there. This was Monmouth County, Sylvania Avenue. Like I said, this was another corridor that Avon by the Sea was complaining about, traffic cutting through here, high-speed traffic. So Monmouth County actually had this in the works, but it happened that it all happened at the same time. They were able to install a bicycle lane, kind of reduce striping out there. But the bike lanes all went in at the same time, so now people could bike from Belmar through Avon, down Sylvania Avenue to the beach. So this kind of worked nice that both projects went in at the same time. And then these were the signs that that Avon wanted installed. On the left, you could see the old sign that said Avon keep left. They didn't want that, so we changed it to Belmar use 35 south. And then all of the control cities were changed to Belmar. Just we got rid of Avon anywhere we could, just so that Belmar traffic would keep going to Belmar. And then, like I mentioned earlier, we coordinated with all the GPS companies. Mobility was able to change the algorithms just so that people going into Belmar were directed onto the state highway system. Ideally Route 35, but if they had gotten into Route 71, then to stay on 71 instead of using local roads. That's just what we did with the crosswalks. The X's are the crosswalks, the green are the new signs that we had put in, and then our drawbridge is right in the middle of it all. And then there was another video that went out when the project was complete. Again, I can send you the link for that. And the whole total cost was $150,000. So it cost us pretty much nothing. We were able to turn that negative out there into a real positive. What we're seeing is that the people are loving it, the pedestrians, the bicyclists. We're seeing, I think I have a slide on it. There you go. We continue to monitor the highway, make sure that everything's moving smoothly with that road diet, but what we're seeing is that the road is operating better now than it ever did. Even during our busiest lifts at 2:30 p.m. and 7:30 a.m., that road is cleared within 3 traffic cycles at 5th Avenue, whereas in the past it would have taken quite a few cycles with left-turning vehicles and backups on that 2-lane section. So kind of proof that a road diet does work. And we've had overwhelming support from the community after this went in. People love the bicycle lanes out there. We're seeing a drastic increase in bicycle traffic across the bridge. People are using it. So it was just kind of born out of necessity, but it turned into a real positive. So it did win 3 awards. The AASHTO Operations Excellence Award for 2023, small project category. the FHWA Build a Better Mousetrap 2023 Bold Steps category, and the New Jersey Society of Professional Engineers Public Project of the Year 2nd place. And just looking forward, we're going to continue to monitor traffic flows, bicycle trends, and bridge operation. We want to evaluate those FRP plates through a winter season. We weren't able to do that last year with no snow, but we're confident that if Chicago can use them, so can we. And it's just proof that drawbridges and bicycle lanes can coexist. In the past, it was kind of like, oh, you have a drawbridge, you're not running a bike lane across that, but we were able to prove that they can coexist. This is Route 35 over Manasquan River. This is another one that we're looking at doing. There's a lot of bicycle traffic across this bridge, so ideally we'd like to put bike lanes on this one as well. So looking at future uses of FRP plates and drawbridge applications. And that's it.
Okay, does anyone have any questions for Gerald?
Sure.
So for the coordinator with the GPS comment, right? And to talk about Go.
Say it again.
Are you talking about Google?
Google, Waze, like, yeah, the big ones.
So it's a permanent reroute.
It was a permanent rerouting that they did.
How do you request it?
That I'm not entirely sure. There was a lot of behind the scenes stuff that went into that. But if you want to send me an email, I'm sure we can look it up. We'll look into it for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was a different division, but I know it works because when I put it in my GPS, it sends me the right way.
Just curious how does it work? Because if local government wants people to get away from the town, could they do that?
I think it was more of sending people directing them onto the state highways. So it was, if you're going into this area of Belmar, just stay on the state highway system.
I can kind of. Who was that? So my understanding is that our traffic, what's Sal's team?
Mobility.
Traffic mobility unit has professional relationships with the people at Google Maps and Waze. And so it's not like any town could just call up Waze and be like, stop sending people through my town. So we have these professional transportation relationships with them. So when we do projects like this, we can have our transportation mobility group reach out to those people and work with them. And usually it's fairly quick adjustment once we're sure that something is going to be permanent. I'm pretty sure that's how we do it. So it's
I'm on that team, and it's part of this, depending on what the request is as well.
very helpful.
It
See?
can't be like, oh, we don't want trucks going through town. Trucks are on the road. They're going to go on the road.
Right.
The GPS company's not going to make about that. If it's, more their cars are making illegal, GPS telling do illegal actions or things like that.
Right.
Instead of reach out to us, we reach out to them, and they tend to make those changes pretty quickly. When it's something like this, it's a little bit more of a more back and forth.
Because you would have to think it's like.
Go on local roads, it's nothing illegal about taking local road.
Right, and they're a customer service agency, so they want their users to go a way that makes sense and is effective for people, or people are gonna stop using their program. So kind of, as long as we're doing things that make sense and are good for traffic, they're on board with us.
That's exactly right. When it comes to, again, improving the roadway for everyone, yes, but not in my backyard.
Right, what's your name?
Tom Murphy.
Hi, Tom, I'm Vanessa.
Yes, we had the parallel Route 35 there, and I think the intent was to take all of that through traffic and keep it off 71 and on the parallel arterial into Belmar over the fixed bridge instead of sending them all over this drawbridge that's now compromised.
One quick question.
Sure.
You had mentioned that the structure is scheduled for replacement in the next couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to stick with the same geometric configuration?
We want to build it on the same alignment. Ideally, we want to close it just detour while we're doing construction.
But you're still going to want to keep one lane with the bike
Yes,
paths
that's what we've talked to the designer about. That we want to keep what we have out here. It's working well. We see no reason to go back to the way it was.
Right.
The way it was kind of a mess. So it kind of cleaned that up too. Yeah.
So Adam by the Sea that had the objection to the road diet, and what was their specific objection? Was it the concern about losing lanes, or?
They were concerned that traffic was going to back up to New Brunswick. They were concerned mainly traffic backups. They were concerned that people were going to start racing down residential streets. They were concerned that because traffic was backed up so much that businesses were going to lose business. It was really kind of unfounded, but
How did you explain the concept of a road diet doesn't cause those issues? I understand you had the micro machines,
Yeah.
broad bridge, but that doesn't really explain how, road diets work.
so we had to explain to them that they had to take our word that traffic would move smoother if this was implemented. So we told them we were going to give them that dedicated left turn lane. They were the ones that pushed for that green arrow. I think the left turn lane would work without the green arrow, but they wanted the green arrow. We gave them the protected, permitted left turn out there. Like I said, we heard all of their requests. We accommodated all of them, and that's kind of what sold it.
So basically, they showed them the traffic analysis beforehand. So when you have a road diet, that increases safety, but every time you're doing a countermeasure, it has to be designed correctly. So in this case, they showed them the traffic analysis probably, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it showed them, but it's still hard for people to believe that.
Well,
we mentioned beforehand, this was queuing all the way back anyway.
Yeah.
So that's what they thought, would continue to queue back, but you had a left turn issue, which was probably, causing all this traffic.
That was the
Right,
problem,
so-
because you
yeah,
had
so-
people, you had one
Okay,
car
right.
making a left onto Fifth Avenue, and all that traffic that was backed up in Belmar that's now trying to get across the bridge, that left turning car can only go when that light turns yellow or when he's fouling the intersection. And then it's going cycle after cycle with one left turning car and all these people trying to go around him. Now he's in a dedicated left turn lane and everybody else can flow freely next to it.
Or you could show that in an analysis, but it's still hard for people to accept that.
So the idea of a road diet not impacting the traffic flow negatively, will need some,
Yeah.
bashing, I guess. It'll take some time for people to get around it. We've, on multiple other road diet projects, we've, gone back and forth with the designer on record saying, if you need to do the synchro analysis, you need to calibrate it correctly and you need to evaluate it correctly to the point where it has shown that there will be level of service benefits as well, when you implement the road diet, because you have friction from weaving traffic. You have friction from, a lot of other, impacts when you have multiple lanes. When you go for a road diet, it becomes much more smoother. So yeah, it'll take some, convincing for people, because traditionally it's like you take away lanes and it'll become more congested.
Yeah,
It's not always.
That's always the question. It's like, well, you're going from 2 lanes to 1. How is it going to fix traffic?
And that's going to do the same thing to roundabouts, those traffic signals.
Well, we had created a road diet video where we explained those very things, which is like the left turning lanes, the leaving, all those issues. And originally, the communities they didn't care what you said.
Yeah.
So they're like, I don't care what you're showing me. I don't believe it. I refuse to believe it.
Yeah.
You cannot take away a lane and things, flow more
Well,
freely.
sometimes they may be right, but that's why you have to do an analysis prior.
Yeah.
You can't just go paint the road diet and not analyze it.
No, I'm saying with analysis. They're like,
Yeah.
I do not believe it.
But if you're familiar with Asbury Park, go through Asbury Park now. They just put a road diet in, or we just
Yeah.
put one in, and it works great. Before it was like the old Route 71. It was 4 lanes with a double yellow. You get stuck behind somebody making a left turn, or somebody doesn't see the guy in front of them making the left turn, goes right into the back of them. It's a lot safer with what was done out there.
Yep.
So now Route 71 is continuous 1 lane from Asbury Park down to Belmar. I think there's a short section in Neptune where we hit Route 33, but for the most part, 71 is 1 lane with the road diet through all the shore towns.
Was the speed limit affected by road diet? Did you have to reduce the speed on the road?
I would say yes. We haven't done any speed studies, but based on what we saw with the people racing across the bridge at that 2 lane section, now they're limited with that 1 lane. It kind of makes it hard to speed across the bridge. And if you're out there, just watch out. Avon by the Sea will pull you over because they're notorious out there.
Or just on speed.
Yeah. Well, no, we see they're always sitting at the base of the bridge. They're always getting somebody coming over the bridge. So it is well patrolled out there.
Did you expand your lifespan on the bridge by reducing the weight?
Our goal was just to get it to replacement. So we're confident that we'll get it to the 8 to 10 years. Beyond that, we're not really sure, but it is programmed and in active design, so it will be coming down.
Okay, any other questions for Gerald? No? Okay, thank you so much. Okay, we're almost out of here, guys. So congratulations again on to Gerald for all those awards. You can see why that was a nationally recognized project. So just one more round of congratulations. And speaking of awards, I'm going to quickly call up our Assistant Commissioner, Mike Russo, to present a very special award to someone who has no idea it's coming. Okay.
So I'll try to be very quick, but this is very important to us. If you look at the timeline of STIC, I'll try to be quick. We're into this now for roughly 13 years, right? New Jersey has a reputation as being a leader in transportation innovation. We started with everyday counts back in the 2010 timeframe. At the same time, the New Jersey STIC was established, and we have a number of people that really laid the building blocks for the success that STIC is today. Some of them are in the room today. Bob Signora was a very active participant in our original STIC council. Deanna Stockton has been with us a while. I can't say enough about what Amanda has done for this program. She brought it to a whole new level. But that's looking back, right? The foundation has been built, and the key to this is for us to build on our past successes and for our STIC council to be sustainable. So that being said, we want to acknowledge those that are going to take us into the future, those that are going to help us raise STIC to a new level. So it was recommended to me, and I thought it was a fantastic idea that Brandy and the team has, was to have an NJSTIC Exemplary Member Award. And today we are going to issue our first NJSTIC Exemplary Member Award. And as I said, Bob Signora played a huge role in establishing our past, but he has now passed the torch to Shivani Patel, who is going to be our future. And we would like to acknowledge folks like Shivani and the future of our STIC, people that are going to continue to carry us forward. So Shivani, if you want to step up to it. Stepping in and stepping into some very large shoes to fill, by the way, taking a very active role, taking the lead on a number of initiatives, including the initiatives for EPDs, pulling together teams, scheduling meetings. You're doing a fantastic job, and we just want to acknowledge you for what you're doing and keep us rolling with this program. You're doing a great job. So this is our very first Exemplary Council Member Award. Congratulations. Yes, back to you.
Yes, thank you so much. Okay. All right, congratulations, Shivani. Well deserved. Okay. Now we just have a few reminders. We do have a dedicated STIC page on our tech transfer website where you can find all of our STIC business articles, meeting recordings, meeting summaries, and more. Another quick reminder is the New Jersey Transportation Ideas Portal. At the front of the room, we have these little business cards that have a QR code on the back. So that will take you right to the portal. So take a bunch, take a few, stick them in your wallet. You come up with an idea, scan this QR code, put it right in the portal. The Bureau of Research is seeking both innovation and research ideas. So take a few extra cards to share with your colleagues. We also want to remind everyone that NJDOT offers free trainings through our local technical assistance program. Here's a list of upcoming trainings with dates and locations. New opportunities are added frequently, so stay up to date and get more information at the website noted here. The information is also attached to your agenda, so don't worry about writing anything down. And speaking of events, here are some upcoming NJDOT events to make note of. We have the Safety Summit on October 24th. Immediately the next day is the 25th anniversary of the Research Showcase. And we have the Complete Street Summit on November 1st. And lastly, I always mention this, but I'm going to say it again. We have STIC incentive funding on the table. We need your help in identifying projects to utilize the funding. These funds can be used to advance projects or initiatives in support of the Everyday Accounts program. We get $100,000 a year, and the website here has all the information you need to get started, but if you have any questions, just feel free to contact me. And that's going to conclude the business portion of the STIC meeting, but before I turn it back over to Mike for final comments, most of you know that this is his last STIC meeting, as he'll be retiring as of October 1st. To that point, I'm going to call up Vanessa Holman from our Commissioner's Office. She's the Deputy Chief of Staff, just to say a few words.
Thank you, Brandy. You're welcome. And thank you, Brandy and Crystal and Shivani and Mike for all the hard work you've put into all of this. I'm really glad that we have this really cool room that we can come to this meeting in. This was excellent, and I appreciate getting included because at every point in today, I kind of learned something that it's been like vaguely on my radar between OCR and our comm shop, and I went, oh, okay, that answered some questions for me. So I do pay attention, I listen, even though I'm not an engineer, and some of it goes over my head, but enough about me. My name is Vanessa, as everybody knows already. I've worked with Mike for almost 11 years in many different capacities. I've always been in the front office. So we've had, five commissioners come and go between just my tenure at the department. And Mike has probably dealt with many, many more before me. But I want to say a few words about one of NJSTIC's primary driving forces from the very beginning. Assistant Commissioner for the next 2 days, Mike Russo. As Brandy put together, you may recall the slide that's still on the screen. Mike was somewhere over there to the left of the 2010s as one of the beginning brainchilds getting this together. Over the years, he's helped grow this STIC network. He's always in our assistant commissioner meetings very passionately talking about all of the different MPOs. I've learned a lot of acronyms, or at least I can say I've heard a lot of acronyms, and I've learned some acronyms, but he's just been persistent and steady and diligent in not only promoting DOT externally, but promoting all of the MPO's good work internally, so that all the way up through the top, all the way to the commissioner level, we hear about what's going on and things that I might not have understood or been familiar with before. He makes sure to bring it to the table in very layman's terms and break it down for people like me who don't really have all the nitty gritty handle on this, but I'm constantly learning new things from Mike and his team, and he's always shown great enthusiasm for championing initiatives through FHWA's Everyday Counts program. I hear that all the time. I hear the words Vision Zero out of Mike's mouth almost every single time I see him. He's always making sure that the right players are engaged in conversations to plan for successful innovation and implementation. He always makes sure to keep in mind the units outside of PMGA, including our Office of Government and Community Relations and including our comms office, to make sure that we're looped in so that we can do a better job of projecting and promoting all the good work that you guys are doing. He's also helped plan feature presentations that were not just informative, but engaging and inciting. The NJSTIC has now been the recipient of 2 National STIC Excellence Awards, which is awesome. It's an exceptional achievement, and the council continues to evolve and improve with new members and the championing of new future-focused developments in the transportation industry. Those are a lot of words to say thank you to Mike. Thank you for starting this all off and sticking with it and being a consistent and persistent leader and making sure that the people who are going to come after you are prepared and empowered and knowledgeable to take over. There's some big shoes to fill and people are going to miss you, but I think that you give yourself a couple weeks of retirement and you won't miss us as much. But you know how to get a hold of us, and thank you for everything that you've done for us. And I would like for everyone to join me in wishing Mike the best in his retirement, because he will be missed, but we are excited for you to go do a new chapter in your life that's hopefully a little bit more relaxing than what it's been. So congratulations.
Thank you very much. I put a few words together.
Absolutely.
keep you here any longer, but, I appreciate that, Vanessa. Thank you very much. My roles that have been just a portion of STIC and a small role from my perspective. I remember days when this was first being initiated by Helene Roberts over at Federal Highway, and Dave Kuhn was one of the founding fathers of this at DOT. And we had meetings where there was 3-4 people in the room, and you can look at what that's been grown into now. And I'm a small part of that. It's because of everybody in this room. It's because of everybody who's chosen to participate this and come back, and the CIAT leaders and the people on their staffs. There was a point where I had this bright idea that, innovation and research should really live together, right? And Amanda assumed the helm of the STIC effort, right, and brought it to a whole new level. And then other bright ideas came along. It's like, we should have an innovation coordinator. And we brought Brandy on board as a dedicated innovation coordinator. This just keeps getting better and better. I'm proud of what's been accomplished. It's been a privilege to be part of this. This was truly a team effort. When you look at what we have here, we have municipal engineers. Deanna's here. We have Vince from Monmouth County, right? We have the counties represented here. Typically, the UTCA is here. George Loban usually comes from the UTCA. We have a new member from the League of Municipalities that has joined us at the first STIC. So it's a wide cross-section of industry representatives, government representatives, all here so that we can take these proven innovations and push them out and get them implemented at every level of our transportation system. It's been a blast. I've really enjoyed this, right? As I said earlier, it's been a privilege. And I just want to thank all of you for all the support and everything you've contributed over the years. Thank you very much. I'm going to miss this.
Okay, well, you're free to go finally, but there is coffee, regular and decaf, and we have some cookies and stuff in the kitchen. So please help yourself. It's all sitting out there, and you can, talk to each other, or if you just want to run out the door, that's fine too. So grab some of those business cards for the idea portal.